Call to order the Community Service Committee meeting on March 15th. Welcome. I'm glad you're all here today. We have an important duty or 2 or 3 to do, so good you're here. Please call the roll.
Ms. Weber?
Present.
Ms. Parker? Present. Ms. Polk?
Present.
Mr. Snipes?
Present.
Ms. Peters?
Present.
Mr. Tholen? Mr. Carrico?
Present.
Mr. Kirkstra?
Present.
Mr. Eckhoff?
Present.
Ms. Bryan? Ms. Hudson?
Present.
Mr. Smith?
Present.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand?
Present.
Mr. Raymond?
Present.
Mr. Wheeler? Mr. Seroy? We have a quorum.
Thank you. I don't have any public comment or presentations, so we'll go next to the minutes that you received from February 15th. Ms. Parker, would you like to move that they be accepted? Mr. Kirk? Okay. Mr. Kirkstra, is that a second?
That will be a second.
All right, thank you for that. Any comments or questions? All in favor of accepting these minutes February 15th, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say aye. Motion is carried. Go next to the county clerk's report. Dan Hendrickson, you have it in your packet. So again, Ms. Hudson, would you like to move to accept his report? Okay, how about Mr. Alexander Hildebrand?
Yes.
You'll second it? Okay. Any questions about it? Oh, we'll approve it then. If you'll, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion is carried. Okay, what would you like to highlight for us? Anything?
Real quick, you know, we had filing last Monday through the 14th, so we did have one office for one party that filed at the same time.
Oh, I bet you're off.
I can project a whole lot louder, so.
Thank you.
We'll do this again for the thousands of people watching at home. The filing for the 2022 general primary was March 7th through the March 14th. We did have 2 candidates that filed for the same position in the same party at 8:30, so that requires us to have a lottery for the ballot placement. Those 2 candidates are Chad Scanlon and Raymond Van Gilder. So our process for doing the lottery is based largely on what the State Board of Elections does. They list the candidates in alphabetical order, and there will be a random drawing. I have 2 envelopes here. One of them has a number 1 in it, one has a number 2 in it. Feats of prestidigitation clearly fail me. I'm going to let Kelly pick whichever one she would like, and then that position, if it's a number 1, that would mean Mr. Scanlon would have the first spot on the ballot. If it's a number 2, Mr. Van Gilder would have the first spot on the ballot. So without any further ado.
Wow, this is nifty to be in charge of the election.
This is.
Can we give a drum roll?
Drum rolls cost too much. I didn't have that in my budget.
Okay.
Oh, there's one in the back. There's a drum roll in the back.
So the number selected was a number 2. So Mr. Van Gilder will have the top spot on the ballot. Mr. Scanlon will have the second spot. Does anybody have any questions about this or anything else with the election process? I'd be happy to answer those questions to the best of my ability. You guys are easy today.
So in all the 28 districts for the county, somebody filed or more, somebody or mores.
Somebody or mores.
Filed. And yet what's the next process? Can people, there's nothing going on until the primary and then could be filing again?
The objection period for people who wish to file an objection goes through next Monday. Then following that, the last day to run as a write-in candidate is 61 days before the election, so that would put us at April 28th. And then we have the general primary on June 28th.
And I think you said to me, even then, after the primary, there can be some people applying to.
There can be, the parties can slate for failure to nominate at the primary election. There is a very narrow window for that. And then people can run as write-in candidates for it to appear on the November election.
So I don't know if when you were coming in today, you maybe have seen some people going to the second floor. What are you doing in the second floor?
We are, couple months ago, you voted to approve the funding for our election judge training program, and we had people from the organization CITL who do our election night reporting and also do our election judge training programs. They flew in from Tampa to begin the shooting. It's going to be a 2-day process. We've got election judges that are here that are our actors. So, and we also have a representative of our voting equipment. Liberty is here to help with any questions or concerns that we have regarding that equipment during the shooting process.
So then after that is a comma. If any of us want to be an election judge, there's no time like the present.
Exactly. We're always looking for people to serve as election judges. If you can't, or you know somebody that would like to, please have them contact our office.
And because you're making a video, that is one way a person could train.
That is the predominant way that we have people take those classes. They can do it at home on their own time and at their own pace. And there's every time you complete a section, it'll mark it out that we'll know that you've completed it. And there's tests throughout each section so that you can show that you have acquired knowledge. So
Correctly.
yes.
Anything else? Mr. Snipes.
I guess I'll sign up to be an election judge.
You might have a little bit of difficulty as you're on the ballot.
Oh, if you're on the ballot, you can't be a judge.
Can
I'm
be.
telling you.
Okay, anything
Okay,
else?
that's-
Thanks. Got taken care of what you needed today.
Yeah. If I could be so kind to have both you and Kelly sign that as witnesses. I just need the one, that's fine.
Each of us signed.
That's all right. That's all right.
Okay, just in case you lose this one.
Sure.
This one.
Thank you all very much. You all have a great day.
All right, thanks. Next, we'll turn to the assessor's report. Mr. Blair. Ms. Peters, would you like to move that we accept that? Mr. Carrico, will you second it? Okay. Any questions about the report that you have in front of you? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion is carried. Okay, I have your microphone on whenever you're ready.
Morning.
Aye.
Good morning.
I don't have a lot for you this morning, so let me just get right into it. This part of the year, being February and March, is a really heavy exemption time for us. It's when our counter is most busy. We take exemptions throughout the year, so we're busy with that all year long. But this is an exceptionally busy part of the year for us with that. So that's kind of what our office is working through. The other thing that's going on is pretty soon, and I don't have a cutoff date yet, but pretty soon the clerk's office is going to cut us off from 2021 exemption entry so that they can start to calculate tax rates. And so our office is caught up completely with our 2021 exemption entry for the year. So that when Mr. Hendrickson is ready to do the extension, we're as caught up as we can be. So that's an important point for this morning that I wanted to bring up. The other things that I wanted to mention that are kind of pending, one thing that I had mentioned last month, and it's just kind of an ongoing concern until the Department of Revenue issues the sales ratio study. We're still waiting on the detailed sales list from the Department of Revenue, which allows us to go through the sales ratio study for the year. That could come at any time, or it could be another month or two away. It just depends on the pace that the Department of Revenue runs with that. The other thing that's coming up that we know about, and it's going to be here before we know it, is tax bill generation. And before that happens, we like to make sure that our database of ownership is caught up to the moment. So we'll be working through that to make sure that all of the property transfers are put into our system, at least superficially, with the owners' names will be caught up so that the bills go to the right place at the right time. That's really all I had for you this morning. I'd open the floor to any questions.
Okay, Ms. Peters, let me get your microphone is 16.
Not really a question, but something that I found out last year is the tax bills do not get forwarded. So if you move and you don't change your tax bill, you won't get it, right?
That is correct.
And you do the change of address with your office, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
They're saying that they get sent back to the office. And there's one of the reports that you give us how many you have gotten back, I think.
I don't know that I typically bring a report here to say how many we've gotten back, but we do work with the assessors to try to see if there's anything that the assessors know about where the whereabouts of the people are. One of the things that is kind of commonly known is that owners know that taxes are due.
Oh.
And so whether you receive a tax bill or not, you know that taxes are due. So not receiving a tax bill isn't really an excuse for not paying the bill. I would say that.
Yeah. Mr. Snipes.
This one, the senior exemptions, I believe is one that there's like a narrative from the state and from local that they have to apply. It's just not given. Are you familiar with anything relating to that?
You talking about senior exemptions?
Yeah, I think it's the seniors exemption. Some of them are saying, I guess their concern was that if they didn't file, I don't know if it's what exemption it was that they get, but whatever that exemption is, if they have to file every year is what I'm understanding. It don't come automatic.
Sure. Let me go through both senior exemptions and make sure that we're straight on both of those. One is just a regular senior a senior exemption, and that is your owner of record, and you are 65 years old. When you come in and you apply for that one time, you do have to apply for it the first time. You know, the only qualification is that you're owner of record and you're 65. Well, once you're 65 and you qualify for the exemption, you're never going to not be at least 65 years old. So we don't make you come back in and reapply for it. Some counties do, we don't. The other exemption that you may be talking about is the senior freeze, and that is an income-based exemption. It has to be $65,000 or less for the household. So because incomes can change, I mean, you could theoretically win the lottery or something one year and not get the exemption. We do make you come in and reapply for that one every year. So that might be the one that you're talking about.
Okay.
But the first two are also with that, income plus 65 plus owner.
That is correct.
Thank you. For your questions, good. Anything else? Okay, anything else you'd like to add?
No, that was all this morning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you too. Okay. Let's go next to Ms. Gadboy with the Recorder's Office. There you have your complete report too. Say, Mr. Eckhoff, what would you like to do? Move that it be accepted? Okay. Would second that. Mr. Kirkster will second it. Do you have any questions? We'll wait and see what our highlights are. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you guys?
Everybody's fine, aren't you? It's going to be a wonderful day today.
It is. Questions on the report for the month of February? Nope. Okay. So I'm going to jump right in. I promised you a few months ago a review of 2021 calendar year of activities in the Recorder's Office. So just to give you the highlights, in the year 2021, we recorded 18,102 documents, and that always reflects on the back page of your report. As you can see, this is an increase from the monthly reports that I've been providing you with. Within that number, we've recorded 4,786 deeds, 4,736 mortgages, 79 notices of foreclosures, and only 4 DD 214s.
What did you say, 14 of them?
Only 4.
4. That's unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. For fiscal year, which is December 2020 through November 30th of 2021, though we recorded, because of our county fiscal year, we recorded 18,453 documents. And from a financial snapshot now, you're going to see a total revenue received into the office was $2,197,994.24. But these funds are then directed to different funds within the county and to the state. I don't get to keep it all.
No.
So the state received from us $676,999.50 for state revenue stamps.
Oh.
So that's the transfer stamps on deeds and declarations that take place. The state RHSP program, that is that program where you're paying in to help for the rental housing support program. We paid in $149,121. To the GIS department, we turned over $291,175. To the county general fund, we turned over $782,618.50. And to the recorder's computer fund, we brought in $298,080.24. So not too bad.
No, it's a good computer fund for sure.
Yes.
Yes.
We continue to work on cleaning up the past records, as I've told you many times in the past, that were incorrectly indexed or labeled wrong, sometimes Scrivener's errors, typos, things like that. So we work on that every day. And along with that, we also have taken on searching the old records of individuals of birth or marriage certificates that were recorded in the office, and that is for out-of-country births, out-of-country marriages. Lately, we've had a lot of people coming in looking for them, saying they were recorded in our office, and we've had a little bit of a struggle trying to find them. So the staff took the initiative to take a break from other stuff they were working on. They all took books from the entry books and just started pulling all birth, adoption, and marriage certificates that we could find. And we're creating a database so that we will make it easier when people come in and are asking for their records. Sometimes people say, I know my parents recorded in 1970, and come to find out it was 1975. You know, so when we're not getting really good information to search, and by all means, we want to help them find their records. So we've taken that on, and they've really done an awesome job in putting it together. So we'll have more information available about that soon. We also continue to work on our back indexing program. As you recall, because of COVID, we did that 12-year imaging project. And because of that project, there was 155,000 documents that were scanned, and to date, out of that, we've completed 30,140 documents indexed and in the system now and searchable. Staff has been doing that, of course, along with extra projects, along with daily work. So they are very busy all the time and do an awesome job. The Grantor Grantee Book Restoration Project, that thankfully you guys have partnered with me with ARPA funds, is coming along very, very well. And I am hoping by second quarter, we will be able to have them all out and on display. So more to come on that. The last set of books to go out will be the books from 1853 to May of 1911. So once that is done, again, we'll be doing something to kind of promote and, you know, kudos to you guys for your support of our office, and that people can see these new books and see what will last for the next 100 years. Yes, which is really important. And we continue to work on the accessibility of information into the recorder's office. We want to be an office with no boundaries. We want to make sure people have a way of getting information one way or another. So we are always working on that. So having images available online, staff providing excellent customer service. I get that every day in my office too. Assisting our searchers who are out of town with requests for images. We're constantly on board with that. The other thing I think, Andy, I might have missed you, but I know you know about this. I put this at everyone's desk. This is our newest promotion for Property Fraud Alert. This continues to be a hot topic around the nation. I mean, it's happening everywhere, and it happens here too. Family disputes, or just downright people who are just bad people who want to take your property. So I encourage you, if you don't want to do it yourself, call my office. My staff is happy to do it with you over the phone. We'll put all the information in. As of the end of December 31st, 2021, we've had 2,256 subscribers into property fraud. Okay?
And this is the kind where if there's a transaction, then you're notifying the owner to say something's going on here. And I think in the past, some of the members have had that email come to them.
Yep, they have. Yes, so I encourage you, and talk about it to other people you know. Now that things are kind of opening up again, we're going to be getting out there and talking about this more and more. So I'm going to participate in the fraud seminar that Senator Joyce is going to be putting on at the end of the month. Last thing I want to share with you is something that kind of was under the radar legislatively and kind of got in, got done, got signed, and it's happening. And it affects my office. But it's okay, because we're going to champion this and tackle this, and we're going to be a part of the solution and not the problem. So there was a law passed regarding unlawful restrictive covenants in county records. So what that is sometimes when there is a subdivision created, the owner of the subdivision will create special covenants regarding you can only have white siding, you can only have so many feet of whatever. Well, in some of our older documents, there are some covenants that are not very nice.
Really?
That's the best way I'm going to put it to you. This is happening all over the state, and it actually spearheaded because of someone in Chicago who bought their property and decided to do some research on their property. And we have people in Kankakee do this all the time. I help them with it. But when they get real deep into the weeds and then they start finding out that maybe a person of color is not permittable to live in that area, or a person of a certain religion is not permittable, it's offensive, obviously. What people were thinking in 1960, 70, 40, whatever, is wrong. And this legislation is an opportunity to correct that. Now, the recorder is not correcting it. The recorder is going to be the resource. I've already sent it up the chain to the state's attorney's office. I've personally spoken with Jim Rowe about this. He is really on board with it. And there's a process that Colton, you're my favorite person to use. Colton finds this house in Momence that he loves, and Momence is one of our older areas, and starts doing the historical search on it and finds out that there was a restricted covenant on there that, you know, you can't be a single person, you have to be a married couple, whatever. And you want that changed. You as that person has a process to follow. You have to get petitions signed, you have a form to fill out in my office. Then I take it up to the state's attorney's office. They review it. They have up to 30 days. After that, after their decision of agreeing or not, or whatever could come out of that, then it comes back down to me. I notify you, and then you have a new corrective covenant written that will then get recorded in my office. It is dated the date of the original covenant, even though it's recorded today. So we don't take out history, we're correcting history.
Updating history.
Make sense? Okay. So here's the other thing. The legislator who created this decided it was going to be a $10 fee to record this correction. I know, whatever. So State's Attorney Rowe and I have talked about this at length, and we are going to bring back to committee next month a recommendation for you to vote on making this a 0 recording fee.
Which you can do. Which you
can do.
Well, yeah. But you can
I can make the recommendation. I can't put a $ on fixing the past. I can't do that. There's not a lot, and if you're ever interested in maybe seeing something, I'm more than happy to show you some of the stuff that's in our records. To some it might be okay, to others it's like, you gotta be kidding me. And actually over the last 13 years I've had that thought many times. Go ahead.
Wait a second. Time. Thank you.
So is that $10 fee an in-house fee, or the state gets part of that $10 too?
Well, great question. At conference that we just had January, I think it was, what month is this, March? Yeah, it was January. We talked about that at length, and because every recorder's office operates just a little differently, although we statutorily all follow the same statute, it's gray. Meaning it doesn't give concrete saying this goes to general fund, this goes to recorder's fund, or maybe this might go to wherever. There are some recorders who are slicing and dicing and taking that money and doing $2 here, $3 here, whatever. I'm going the high road. I'm going for integrity, responsibility, and respect. So I will be coming back to you next month with the recommendation that, and I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be thousands of documents. It really isn't. We've had people in DeKalb. We've had a couple of interests in LaSalle. There's been some down, I think, in Tazewell, and of course in Cook County. But it's going to happen. It's going to evolve, and for now, in the future, I would like something very, very concrete, solid, and understandable for everyone.
You mentioned petitions. Who would Colton have to get petitions signed by?
Well, that would be the other landowners that are within the restricted covenant property.
I guess my only question with this whole legislation, nobody goes off of covenants if you don't have a board of covenants.
After 20 years,
it goes away.
Well, they go away, but because this is permanent record, the intent was it's something on record that's insulting, degrading, demeaning
from the past,
and would like it corrected. So this is an opportunity of correction. It does, and again, we don't black out, we don't cut out, we don't remove anything. So that original paperwork stays. The new paperwork dated January 3rd, 1940, recorded March 14th, 2021, will be then a superseding, am I saying that correct back there? I'm looking at the state's attorneys. It supersedes then the restricted covenants.
That's the word.
Although for all those years, people have lived through that. So welcome to history.
Yeah. Grading.
So questions on that?
This is, I'll be right with you, but this is the only, actually, to fix things that are not morally correct, I think it is.
There you go. Yes,
So,
I like
because
that.
in my community where I live, there was a covenant that you couldn't build a little shed in your property.
Right.
But as Colton said, in 20 years, all the little sheds started coming up. So, okay, Mr. Wheeler.
Is there any any requirement to publish these notices that this is being changed in the newspaper?
Nope.
So there's no cost beyond your staff? Okay. 'Cause typically, that's what fees are, is just to cover staff time.
Right.
But if it's so few, and I've seen these, by the way, they exist.
I know.
And it's, you go, wow, you could even say that back then? You know, I mean, and so you realize we're not that far removed from this stuff. But I just worry about staff time. But like you said, I think you'll mostly see it through attrition. It'll be coming in, people will buy a house, they'll see it, and they'll ask to have it changed. I just wonder about did they talk about why it has to be a petition? Because it's against the law to restrict people in this manner. And I'm just wondering why they would have to go get a petition. They could just request it. And I'm just wondering, maybe the lawyers thought that was the
I think
case.
that's because there's the process where it goes up to the state's attorney's office for review.
Okay. It just seems like an odd step to me. Like, why would that even be required? But it needs to be changed anyway. I was just curious.
It's a process for changing covenants, and I think that's why they follow that.
Oh, that is part of the process of changing code. Did you have a question in the back, too? I thought it was a hand in the back. Anywhere else? Comment, Mr. Snipes?
I believe, I mean, Illinois is good for doing a lot of new things, but I'm one that say we don't need a lot of new things. We just need to better the things we have, and I think this is a way to kind of better, even though I would raise my eyebrow to you having to get a petition to go out to your neighbors to get them to sign on, and then how many signatures are you required to have in order to before it proceeds further?
There isn't a requirement, but what it is, it's giving the person who has the concern the opportunity to share it with their other neighbors and make them aware, and so that it becomes more of a blanket correction versus you did it, Larry lives 3 houses down from you, Larry comes about it and says, oh, I want to do this, and Larry's got to do it. I think this is to encompass.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
That's good.
So it's more of a collective, collaborative effort versus a unilateral.
And truly, it's up to if you want to do that. You know, the one person I know in Chicago, she did it on her own. She literally, just because she was insulted and wanted it corrected, because she didn't want her history of her property to have that following.
Attachment.
So, I'm never going to explain the past.
Well,
Ever. The past is our past. We are here today to work better for tomorrow. And that's truly, I believe, we hope, the intent is. Thankfully, Kankakee County does not have the abundant restricted covenants as maybe some of the other communities might have. But we do have them. So it's possibly going to come about. So I just want you to be aware of it, and I want you to know that next month I'll be coming forward for the action item that I guess will go to full board then. So.
and you're coming for just the county. That's what you're bringing, the 0 for the county.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? It's a good explanation, and something.
I hope.
What, do you know who originated that bill? Any chance?
I printed it off, and of course it
That's all
doesn't
right.
give me that
It doesn't
person.
matter, but I just thought it was.
Some of our legislative committee members from the recorder and clerks have spoken with this legislator. We constantly ask, when you start doing something, anything reflective of property, please reach out to us, because they don't. And then we get the tail end of it, and you don't get corrections like you really want to get.
Oh, it could have been refined. You're saying,
Right.
yeah.
So when we start explaining to them, then the in-depth process, they're like, oh, really? It's that hard? Come on in and spend the day with us.
It sounds like who would be originating this would be either somebody buying property or somebody who owns it and just wants to know what's going on. Huh?
Well, yeah, it's, like I said, I do believe it stemmed from the person in Cook County that started doing a historical search on their property, which people do that all the time. You know, they want to know who lived here before and stuff like that. And then when they start seeing this language, and a lot of it is in the first deed out, it's from the original deed, which people always want to see that, then they're like, whoa. So, you know, so, but it's okay because we're going to champion it, we're going to make it better, and we're going to go forward. Right?
Yeah.
Any other questions for the report?
Good explanation. Thank you for that.
Again, you're always welcome to stop in. We'd love to show you around if you have questions. And other than that, we'll see you next month.
Good.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, Mr. Any other
I apologize, I forgot. I just want to thank Lori for the flags. She found 3 flags, and we got them in. We got 2 flying. The third was going to be at the new jail, but they have flag poles that are. We can't put another flag on there because the string goes through the middle of the pole. So I can't. So we're trying to find a third place for it. So thank you very much for finding those.
I got
It's very difficult. Got a guy.
Oh, you have a guy?
Got a guy.
You know a guy.
I know a guy.
This is a good guy to know, obviously. Is it? Thanks to Jasmine, too, who sent the note to us all that and showed us the flag with the flag with the flag. Okay. So we need one more motion. Who's got? Polk. Hudson. Mr. Polk, Mrs. Polk, Miss Polk, Dr. Polk will second it. All in favor of accepting the animal control report, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carried. Okay, what would you highlight for us?
One correction on the yearly total to date, on the funds report, it says 51,000, it's actually 112,000 for the year. Excuse me, I only added up 1 column, so that's my error on that.
112, what's the rest of that, do you know?
643.
Always good to have that kind of correction, isn't it?
And then you'll notice that the IP tip is $572,320.94. I was able to move $200,000 from our checking account over to IP tip because that was money that we had saved the last 2 years on the budget. So it was nice to be able to move that over into a building fund.
It is. I don't think you could say anything better today than those two things. Right?
Yeah, so that was good. Our euthanasia, if you look in the back side, there is 10 of those euthanasia were owner-elect. So people always, look at our euthanasia numbers and realize that there could be high, but you'll have to notice that those are a lot of the times owner-elect euthanasia that we do at our building. We don't ask questions generally because there are a lot of times they're sick animals, injured animals, things like that. They bring to us because we have a low cost, a lot less cost than the veterinarians do in our area.
So I think it's saying total 9.
9, and then there's cats. So that's nine adult dogs, and then 3 cats.
And so combined, 10 out of the 12.
Correct.
Person. Which is, that's all you can ask. I mean,
yeah. An update on the van. I was there on Friday, talked to Dean at Kankakee Truck. Everything's almost done except they're waiting on an air conditioner because the air conditioner that was in the van before did not fit in the place we wanted it to put, and so he has to get a new air conditioner. We're waiting 3 weeks on that so far. So once that's done, he's going to create some vents in the back of the cages, and then the truck will be done. The van will be done. So
air conditioning for the animals too. That's
yes. Yep. So 'cause it's all enclosed. So we just use cages that we had from the building, and those are in the new van. So it didn't cost a lot of to get a new cages. Haven't gotten built for Kankakee Truck, but he promised it was going to be a lot less than having it outfitted totally like they did the
other one you had.
The van we have, correct.
The other thing we noticed is there are 30 less animals handled this year than last year, so I think that could give you some relief.
We did have a decent month for February. It is starting to pick up again in March. So as it's starting to get nicer out, we see that's a trend. It's going to happen that way. But we did have a nice, year. And with last year too, we did have a bunch of animals go to rescue. So I was informed recently that rescues tend to be full right now. So we may have to start doing adoptions again, which is something that we have been shied away from recently. Getting out to rescue was a perfect way to get them out quicker. We didn't hold on to them. It was better for them that way. We do have 2 dogs available for adoption right now. they're ready to go at any time. Rescue has taken, we did a 3, rescue took 1 the other day. So we're just trying to get them spayed and neutered, which is always backdated a little bit, so.
I'd like to, if you have a question, I'll take it from you, but please take a look at the website. And are you maintaining your website?
Yes.
Because you're able to see there all our names on this committee, all the dates that we meet for this committee, animal welfare's names of the people in the community, when they meet, who your employees are, what are the rules about municipalities, who has agreements. You do a fine job here. What are the exceptions, and how do you deal with those exceptions?
A lot of that was done before I had taken over, but I have tried to maintain it in the meantime.
Besides that, you have job opportunities, if you have somehow any.
We are still looking for a part-time shelter technician. That his job has been vacant for a month now. Luckily, one of the staff members has, she kind of did interim work for me, so she's taken over and she's done the work for me, but she doesn't want to, she has a full-time job anyway, so she'd like to just go back to when as needed. So we're looking for a part-time kennel tech, which is a weekend basic job.
You have all the telephone numbers of other places, other veterinary clinics and other hospitals and private animal shelters, but the part I wanted to mention is there's a page that says please volunteer. So is there something on this page that you really could use right now if we had to?
We can always use canned food. So cats and dogs can always use canned food. It's an expense that we have that we always incur every month, but if we can get it donated, that's something that we appreciate to have. The animals appreciate it. Currently we have a dog that was hit by a car, we believe hit by a car on Saturday. He's very selective on what he eats. I purchased 2 chicken patties out of my own pocket, purchased that for him, which is fine. I'm not upset about that. It was great to be able to get it to him. Bought more on Saturday and Sunday, bought it. That's the only thing he wanted to eat was chicken breast. So we bought those for him. Lately, today he got some canned food, so we're trying to get him back on that. But the only thing he wanted to eat was chicken breast. So
but
the canned food is
for them too.
Yeah.
But you don't have, I don't know if you had a brand on here, but you're saying bring it on, whatever.
Any canned food, yeah.
Okay.
Some are pickier than others, but I always tell them, you guys are homeless. You should eat what we have.
And they said,
yeah. Some are like, well, he's got this one. I want this one. So.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh. Do they eat in common?
No, they don't. But they're right next to each other. The cages are, so they can
see.
They can
Oh,
see
that guy's got more.
Yeah,
stuff.
or somebody gets a meatball, then like, why does he get a meatball? He's getting medicine. I want a meatball too. So we did have some that throw fit, and we do have a dog right now that only likes her food heated. So.
How did you learn that?
She refused to eat it until she was heated.
So let's heat it.
Yes, she is a 3-pound Chihuahua.
3-pound Chihuahua in control of the animal milk.
And we cater to her needs. So.
Okay. Anything else on the update you'd like to add for us?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Tinker, what do you have today? Advisory committee? A second, I'll get you.
We did not meet this month. We are going to be meeting April. I just had that up here.
Yep.
On my phone. On the 13th of April, we'll be meeting again for AWAC.
Okay.
Thank Carrie for attending meetings and giving us all the information, and giving us a chance to ask questions. We really like that.
Mm-hmm. It's helpful. Okay. Thanks, Carrie, a lot. I appreciate you coming. Anything else? Looking on your agenda, new or old business? Does anyone have something to add?
Madam Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion. We move to adjourn.
Mr. Cook said, and Ms. Polk said, let's second that. All in favor of adjourning, say aye. And all opposed, say no.